Case 5284. Subject: the Whisper Gang. There's a pattern in Gotham. Violence comes fast, but silence stays longer. The Whisper Gang were never loud. That was their code. Silence. Obedience. Secrets. They didn't make headlines. They made shadows. A syndicate born from old-world discipline and shaped by the cracks of Gotham's underground. They operated beneath the city's bones, smuggling tech, rerouting identities, trafficking anything valuable enough to vanish. No blood spilled unless necessary. No civilians touched. They had rules. Broken ones, but rules nonetheless. I first encountered them 7 years ago. A silent runner intercepted near Blackgate perimeter. No ID, no voice, just ink across his throat and a cracked ivory token clenched in his hand. They weren't interested in power. They were interested in staying invisible. But someone saw them. Someone with the power to erase. On the night of the murders, it started with an energy signature. 2:13 a.m. Burnside sector. EMP spike. Power blinked across 14 blocks. By the time I reached the lower rail access at 2:47, 9 were already dead. The air was still, humid, carrying the chemical scent of plasma and scorched nylon. First body, male, 40s, chest crushed inward, blunt trauma without residue. Conclusion: sonic compression weapon, high frequency, silent but lethal. Second, female in her 30s, spinal fracture at C3, cause, small aerial drone strike. Entry wound narrow, no defensive injuries. She never saw it coming. Third, teenager, messenger, lower back GSW, suppressed round, non-lethal placement, died from blood loss, took too long to die, intentional. Fourth and fifth, guards, brothers, tased with experimental hardware, stun darts laced with destabilized bioelectric compound, heart failure within seconds. 6, 7, 8, technicians, responsible for server upkeep, died near a collapsed router array. Trace elements of inhalant-based nerve agent found in sinuses, a quiet gas, paralyzes before it kills. The ninth, Velko, the unspoken leader, face unrecognizable, dental records gone, identified by a titanium coin embedded into the lining of his belt, a coin etched with the same feline sigil, seen at every whisper drop. They didn't fight, they were executed. Data drives, melted, hardline networks, pulled, emergency exits, sealed, every route mapped, every life calculated. This wasn't retaliation, this was orchestration. I traced drone telemetry from shrapnel fragments embedded in the concrete. The echo of heat patterns led to a single off-grid relay tower in Gotham's southeast district. The source was clear. The colony. They're not ghosts anymore. They're a shadow you don't see until your heart stops beating. Black ops born from post-military doctrine. Gotham wasn't supposed to know about them, but I did. I've crossed paths with them before, once in Kondak, once in Brussels, and twice in my own city. Their mission? Total threat neutralization, not just villains, not just killers, anyone who wears a mask. I recovered fragments of their tactical deployment orders. No warning, no negotiation, direct engagement. Eliminate all embedded syndicate personnel, maintain silence, sanitize scene. The orders came through a Wayne Tech secured channel. Someone piggybacked our infrastructure. Someone inside Wayne's system signed off on the hardware used. I brought it up with Lucius. He denied knowledge, but the frequency bands didn't lie. They used our power to bury Gotham's ghosts, and I'm not okay with that. I found a survivor, young, male, barely alive. Half his ribcage caved in, voice box ruptured. He couldn't talk, but he could still write. 3 words on the concrete beneath him: the sky burns. It was all he had the strength for. I ran scans of the sky above, drone clusters high altitude, semi-autonomous kill tech, adaptive learning AI that tracked heart rates and untagged heat signatures. This wasn't justice. It was an algorithm with a license to kill. They called it Operation Silent Echo, a name drenched in hypocrisy. I traced their uplink to a hangar near Route 9, fenced under a shell corp owned by a subsidiary of a former Wayne-Tech partner. Another link. Another betrayal. Inside the hangar, I found burned wings, literal drone rotors covered in ashes. Tech so new, not even DARPA had specs on it. But it wasn't the weapons that disturbed me. It was the whiteboard. A list, names, photos, tags. Every member of the Whisper Gang, dead, crossed out. This wasn't a tactical sweep. This was a death schedule. At the bottom of the list, blank spaces, future targets. One of them had a symbol next to it. The bat. They planned to come for me too. Because I protect the criminals who surrender. Because I let them stand trial. Because I believe that justice isn't clean. It's earned. I returned to the tunnels, walked them again, alone, and in the silence. I didn't just see blood. I saw what Gotham loses every time we let someone else define who's worth saving. The Whisper Gang never had a chance, but they deserved one. They chose silence, but I won't. I've begun reconstructing their data vaults. Fragments from flash drives the colony didn't burn. There are names in there, accounts, trade lines, people who benefited from the Whisper Gang, politicians, bankers, executives. If I let this slide, then who do I protect next? The Whisper Gang operated in the dark, but what killed them was done in daylight, quiet, surgical, funded. I don't kill, but I don't forget either. I've stored this file under level 9 encryption, distributed backups across 3 nodes, Clock Tower, Batcave Alpha, and Arkham's off-grid archive. If this happens again, I'll know, and so will Gotham. Stay vigilant. Follow for more stories from Gotham's case files.